resource do I need to use in order to teach this particular content? If I use this tool, will I be able to achieve the learning objectives for this particular topic? Then they also need to ask, if I use this tool, will I be able to deliver effectively using the methodologies that I am familiar with? And therefore, we say that TPAC is when the three elements are intersecting. We'll now move on to curriculum and ICT integration. And we ask ourselves, how does the curriculum facilitate ICT integration? This is usually done in two ways. One, in the curriculum, ICT is taught as a different subject, a separate subject. So we talk about computer studies, we talk about computer science, computer engineering, software engineering. In all this, we are trying to equip the learners with basic computing skills. The other approach that is used by the curriculum is ICT assisted instruction. Here we are talking about making use of ICT as a medium of teaching. So in addition to the normal teaching, teachers are encouraged to use the ICTs in order to enhance learning. So it becomes a medium through which the teachers and the learners are able to achieve the learning objectives. But what are the requirements for effective integration of ICT in the curriculum? This is a question that many of us will be asking ourselves. What do I require if I plan to go and integrate ICT in the curriculum? We shall look at some of them. One, you need power. And power can be in form of electricity. It could be from wind, it could be from water, it could be from solar. You could even get power from a generator. But this should be readily available. It should also be regular. The second requirement is innovation. That as teachers, we need to be ready to innovate. Shift from the traditional way of using school resources. Move on to the learner-centered approach, where we want to experiment on the various ways of using ICTs to ensure that learning is taking place in our classrooms. The third requirement is digital content. And I've said we have content that is developed by KICD. We also have content that is developed by publishers. And the approved content, digital content in Kenya, is catalogued in the Orange Book. Then the last requirement is the open education resources, educational resources. We call them the OERs. So therefore, we are saying that teaching and learning materials that are licensed and are free should be available to teachers so that they can be able to customize them, they can be able to remix them, and use them in whichever way they think is suitable for their classes. Those are the ones we call the OERs. So they have open licenses, the Open Educational Resources or OERs. We hope that we are getting on well, and we have now started understanding our role in ICT integration. Let us now look at instructional approaches that you can use as a teacher for ICT integration in the classroom. We shall mainly look at three main approaches. The first one is the integrated approach. So here in the integrated approach, as a teacher, you plan to use it to enhance a particular concept, skills. So generally we are saying that It is just a small component of the class, of the lesson, that will require the use of the ICTs. The second approach is the enhancement approach. Here we are talking about planning to use ICT resources in order to enhance the existing topic through some aspects. For example, you may decide to use a video clip in a lesson. So you want to enhance the learning of that concept through the use of something like a video clip. You're not going to use it throughout. And the last approach is the complementary approach. In the complementary approach, teachers require the learners to do some assignment using ICTs. For example, they may ask them to go and do research on the internet, to take notes through typing, or even sending their homework through emails. Let us now look at staff development and support. As we said, for teachers to effectively use ICTs, we must build their capacity. This can be done through three main phases. The pre-service. When teachers attend their pre-service training, they need to become familiar with ICT integration in pedagogy. How can they make use of ICTs in the teaching of a particular subject? During in-service trainings, that as teachers go through in-service training programs, they need to be familiarized with ICT integration. Then we can talk about the ongoing training programs, capacity building programs, and this could either be formal or informal. When, for example, teachers at school do peer learning, when they train other teachers. However, for teacher professional development to be successful, there are some critical factors that we need to consider. One is motivation. How motivated is the teacher to use ICTs in the classroom, to use ICTs in carrying out the administrative work within the school? What is that is motivating them to make use of ICTs? 2, access to ICTs. 3, teachers' subject knowledge. How conversant are they with the knowledge of the subject, so that they know that at this particular point, I can be able to make use of this ICT tool for effective delivery of the learning. Then we also have to ask ourselves about teacher self-learning. Are teachers willing to learn by themselves? Once they realize that they do not have a skill, once they realize that a skill is required for them to go and use the ICTs in the classroom, are they ready to do that? And lastly, we look at the ongoing in-service training. And here we are talking about training being ongoing. It is not a one-off. Teachers must be consistently equipped with the knowledge and the skills. And lastly, we shall look at leadership and organizational change. And leadership plays a very crucial role in ensuring that there is a smooth transition from the traditional learning methods to the ICT-enabled learning environments. And therefore, we are saying that effective ICT integration requires the following from the school leadership. 1, leader involvement. Leaders must become involved. Secondly, leaders must also learn technology. They must learn ICTs. Then there also must be orientation and training of the staff. Then The school leadership must also foster smart partnerships. They must ask themselves, whom can we partner with so that we can have effective ICT integration in the school? Then we have benchmarking other schools. Then feedback and recognition. When a teacher consistently uses ICTs in the classroom. And lastly, consistency. That there has to be consistent integration of the school. It is not a one-off. If you require that teachers teach using ICTs, that should become like a requirement, and it has to be consistently done so that it becomes like part and parcel of the way the teachers do their work. We have now come to the end of Unit 4 on ICT integration. We hope you've learned something about the process of integrating ICT in the teaching and learning process. And bear in mind that the 4-in-1 model and the TPAC models are important frameworks for guiding you in the ICT integration initiatives. As a teacher, we would encourage you to look for opportunities where you can be able to acquire the necessary ICT integration skills, and the support of management will also be important when it comes to ICT integration initiatives at the school level. Before we end this unit, we want to encourage you to attempt the activities given in the presentation and the case studies that are posted on the platform. Remember to record your response in your personal journals. Thank you for listening.